Listen, life is a battle. Every day you wake up to challenges that test your faith, your strength, and your purpose. But let me tell you something. When you stick with God, you never walk alone. See, most people drift through life without a foundation. They chase money, success, or approval. But when the storms hit, when the business fails, when the relationships break, when the health crisis comes, they have nothing to stand on. But you have something greater. Life is full of battles. Every day you wake up to challenges. Some you expect, some that hit you out of nowhere. You fight for your dreams. You fight for your peace. You fight to stay strong when everything around you tries to break you. But let me tell you something. You don't have to fight alone. When you stick with God, you have a source of strength that never runs dry. You have a power greater than fear, greater than doubt, greater than any obstacle in your way. People will let you down. Situations will shake you. Storms will come, and there will be moments when you feel like giving up. But when you stick with God, you find a strength that doesn't depend on circumstances. You find peace that doesn't break under pressure. You find confidence that doesn't fade when life gets tough. Because you know, no matter what happens, He is with you. Think about that for a second. The creator of the universe walks with you, fights for you, and lifts you when you fall. You may not see the way forward right now. You may feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, but God is already making a way. He's already setting things in motion. He's already preparing breakthroughs you can't even imagine. But you have to trust Him. You have to stick with Him, even when life doesn't make sense, even when things aren't going your way, even when the doors aren't opening yet. Because the moment you let fear take over, the moment you let doubt pull you away, you cut yourself off from the very power that can change everything. How many times have you tried to do it all on your own? How many times have you carried burdens that were never meant for you to carry alone? It's time to stop trying to control everything and start trusting the one who holds everything. It's time to stop walking in fear and start walking in faith. When you stick with God, you don't just survive life's battles, you overcome them. You rise above them. You turn pain into power. You turn struggles into strength. And you walk through life with a confidence that nothing and no one can shake. Because you know, no matter what comes, you are never alone. You are never forgotten. You are never without hope. When you stick with God, you walk in victory before the battle is even won. Because the battle is not just yours to fight. And when He is on your side, there is only one outcome. Keep moving forward. Keep believing. Keep standing strong. And stick with God. Because He has never let you down, and He never will. Most people spend their lives chasing success. They chase money, they chase status, they chase recognition, thinking that once they have it, they'll finally be fulfilled. But what happens when life throws a storm their way? What happens when the business fails, when the relationship falls apart, when the unexpected happens and everything they built starts to crumble? They realize they never had a strong foundation to begin with. See, success on the surface looks good. It looks shiny, it looks impressive, and for a while it feels like it's enough. But the truth is, if your success isn't built on something solid, something unshakable, it will never last, because life will test you. It will push you. It will throw challenges at you that money can't solve, that status can't protect you from, that applause can't heal. And if all you've built is a house of cards, one strong wind is all it takes to bring everything crashing down. That's why you see people who seem to have it all, but behind closed doors, they're lost. They're anxious. They're empty. Because they spent their whole life climbing the ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. They thought success was the answer, but success without a strong foundation is an illusion. What good is having everything if you have no peace? What good is reaching the top if your soul is running on empty? Real success isn't just about what you have. It's about what holds you together when life gets tough. It's about knowing that no matter what comes, you won't be shaken. It's about building something that lasts, something that isn't dependent on the world's definition of success, but on something deeper, something real. Because at the end of the day, money fades, titles change, people's opinions shift. And if your foundation is built on things that don't last, you'll always feel like you're one failure away from losing everything. But when your foundation is strong, when it's rooted in something unshakable, no storm can take you down, no setback can destroy you, no failure can define you. Because you weren't standing on temporary success, you were standing on something that lasts. And that's the difference between those who break under pressure and those who rise even higher, the foundation they built their life on. So ask yourself, what are you standing on? Are you chasing a success that disappears the moment life gets hard? Or are you building something unshakable, something that will carry you through every storm? Because when life tests you, and it will, that foundation is the only thing that will keep you standing. Sticking with God gives you strength. It gives you clarity. It gives you resilience when life feels overwhelming. Because let's be real, hard times will come. There will be moments when you feel lost, when you feel drained, when nothing seems to be going your way. People will walk away. Plans will fall apart. The things you counted on may not turn out the way you expected. And in those moments, you have a choice. You can break under the pressure. You can let fear and frustration take over, or you can lean into something greater than yourself. When you stick with God, you don't have to figure everything out on your own. You don't have to carry the weight of the world by yourself. You have a source of strength that never runs dry, a power that lifts you up when you feel like you can't go on, because life will test you. It will push you, stretch you, and try to shake your faith. But when your trust is in God, nothing can break you. You may bend, but you won't snap. You may struggle, but you won't be defeated, because you're not walking through the fire alone. You have a guide. You have a protector. You have a source of wisdom that cuts through the noise and shows you the way forward. When you stick with God, clarity replaces confusion. Peace replaces anxiety. Hope replaces despair. You start to see things differently. You start to understand that every challenge has a purpose. Every delay is part of the process. Every struggle is shaping you into something stronger. That's what resilience is. It's not just surviving. It's learning, growing, and coming out of the storm stronger than before. And that only happens when you stay connected to the source. Because the moment you let go, the moment you try to do it all on your own, that's when the weight becomes unbearable. That's when doubt creeps in. That's when fear takes control. But when you stick with God, you remember who you are. You remember what you're made of. You remember that no matter how dark it gets, the light is never too far away. So keep your faith strong. Stay grounded in His presence, because the storms may come, but they won't break you. The obstacles may rise, but they won't stop you. And no matter what you face, you will always have the strength, the clarity, and the resilience to rise again. Fear and doubt have controlled too many lives for too long. They creep in when you're uncertain. They grow stronger when you hesitate. Whisper lies, telling you that you're not good enough, that you'll never make it, that you should just give up. But the moment you align your life with faith and purpose, something powerful happens. Fear starts to lose its grip. Doubt begins to fade, because when you walk in faith, you stop letting fear control your decisions. You stop letting doubt hold you back. You stop second guessing every step, every move, every opportunity. Faith gives you certainty in uncertain times. It gives you strength when everything around you feels unstable. It reminds you that even when you don't have all the answers, even when you can't see the whole path, you are still moving forward, because you are no longer walking alone. Purpose gives you direction. It gives you clarity. It gives you a reason to keep pushing, keep striving, keep believing, no matter what obstacles come your way. When you know why you're here, when you know what you're meant to do, fear no longer paralyzes you. Doubt no longer defines you, because you understand that your journey is bigger than a single setback. Your calling is stronger than any temporary struggle. You stop looking at obstacles as roadblocks and start seeing them as lessons. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating momentum. You stop asking, what if I fail, and start saying, what if this is exactly what I was meant to do? That shift changes everything, because fear only has power when you give it power. Doubt only wins when you listen to it. But when you align your life with faith, when you lock in on your purpose, you step into a different mindset. You step into a place where confidence replaces hesitation, where courage takes the lead, where even when fear tries to creep back in, you keep moving forward anyway, because you know something greater is guiding you. You know your steps are ordered. You know that everything you're facing is preparing you for something bigger. And when you truly believe that, fear and doubt can no longer control you. They may still show up, but they won't stop you. They may still whisper, but they won't define you, because you are walking in faith. You are standing in purpose. And nothing can shake you when you know exactly who you are and why you're here. Challenges are a part of life. You can't avoid them. You can't run from them. At some point, you will face something that tests you, something that pushes you to your limits, something that makes you question whether you have what it takes to keep going. But here's the truth. Challenges are not meant to stop you. They are meant to shape you. They are meant to strengthen you. They are meant to take you to the next level. And when you trust in God, those challenges stop looking like barriers and start looking like stepping stones. They become the very things that build you into the person you were meant to be. Because God doesn't allow struggles in your life to break you. He allows them to prepare you. to teach you, to refine you. Every challenge carries a lesson. Every setback is an opportunity to grow. Every obstacle is a chance to rise higher than before, but you have to trust the process. You have to trust that even when things don't go the way you planned, they are still working for your good. You have to trust that even when doors close, new ones are being prepared. You have to trust that even when you don't see a way, God is already making one. Because nothing happens by accident. The delay is not denial. The struggle is not the end. What looks like a setback today could be the setup for something far greater than you ever imagined. But if you let the challenge stop you, you'll never know what's on the other side. Too many people give up too soon. They hit one roadblock and think it's a sign to quit. They face one disappointment and believe they weren't meant to succeed. But the people who win in life, the people who create real change, the people who walk in their purpose, those are the ones who refuse to quit. They don't let challenges break them. They use them as fuel. They use them as stepping stones to something greater, and they trust in God every step of the way because He never wastes a challenge. He never wastes a struggle. He never puts something in front of you that doesn't have a purpose. So don't run from the challenge. Don't fear the struggle. Lean into it. Learn from it. Grow through it, and trust that on the other side, something greater is waiting for you. Too many people only seek God when life gets hard, when the bills pile up, when the doctor gives bad news, when the relationship is falling apart, when they feel lost, broken, and desperate for an answer. And in those moments, they pray. They cry out for help. They ask for guidance, for strength, for a way out of the storm. And God, in His grace, hears them. He steps in. He provides. He opens doors. He makes a way where there was none. And suddenly, things start getting better. The problems begin to fade. The opportunities start flowing. The peace returns. And what happens next? They drift. They stop praying as much. They stop seeking Him daily. They get comfortable. They start thinking they can handle things on their own. And before they know it, the fire they had in the struggle is gone. The hunger they had for God disappears the moment life gets easy. But that's the mistake. That's where so many go wrong, because true success isn't about just getting through the storm. It's about staying committed long after the storm is over. It's about staying connected to the source of your blessings, not just when you need something, but always. It's about realizing that the same God who brought you through the valley is the same God you need on the mountaintop, because success without God is dangerous. It makes people forget where they came from. It makes them forget who carried them when they couldn't walk. It makes them trust in their own strength, their own plans, their own abilities, until life humbles them again. And that's why so many people fall, not because they weren't strong enough, not because they weren't talented enough, but because they disconnected from the very thing that made them successful in the first place. Real success isn't measured by what you have, it's measured by what keeps you grounded. It's measured by whether or not you stay faithful when life is good, by whether or not you remember who blessed you when the blessings are flowing, by whether or not you keep your heart in the right place, no matter how high you rise. Because staying committed isn't just about seeking God in your struggles. It's about walking with Him in your victories. It's about keeping Him first when you have everything you once prayed for. It's about understanding that without Him, none of it means anything. So don't be the person who only calls on God when life gets tough. Be the person who walks with Him always, because true success doesn't come from just surviving the storm. It comes from staying faithful long after the storm has passed. Faith isn't just about surviving. It's not just about holding on, gritting your teeth, and barely making it through. It's about thriving. It's about transforming. It's about becoming stronger, wiser, and more unshakable with every trial you face. Because life will test you, it will push you to your limits, it will throw challenges your way that make you question everything. But faith isn't about avoiding the storm. It's about walking through it and coming out better on the other side. Too many people think faith means never struggling, never facing hardship, never feeling fear or doubt. But real faith isn't about living a life without challenges. It's about knowing that no matter what comes, you are never defeated. It's about standing firm when everything around you feels unstable. It's about trusting that even in the darkest moments, there is still a greater plan at work, because every trial is an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to rise, an opportunity to become the person you were meant to be. Pain isn't meant to destroy you, it's meant to develop you. And obstacles aren't placed in your path to stop you. They are there to strengthen you. Every challenge carries a lesson. Every struggle builds endurance. Every setback is setting you up for something greater. But you have to see it that way. You have to shift your mindset from just surviving to transforming, from just making it through the day to becoming a new version of yourself. Because faith isn't passive. It's not just sitting back and hoping things work out. It's stepping up. It's moving forward even when you're scared. It's trusting even when you don't see the full picture. It's choosing to believe that every battle you face is preparing you for a bigger victory. And when you live with that kind of faith, life changes. You stop seeing problems as punishments and start seeing them as preparation. You stop fearing the unknown and start embracing the journey. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? Because faith isn't just about enduring the struggle. It's about rising above it. It's about coming out of every trial, not just as the same person, but as someone stronger, someone wiser, someone transformed. So don't just hold on. Don't just survive. Someone survive. Someone survive. Let your faith push you forward. Let it refine you. Let it take you to levels you never imagined. Because faith is not about staying the same. It's about stepping into the person you were always meant to become. Sticking with God isn't just something you do when life is easy. It's not just for the good days when everything is falling into place. It's a decision to trust Him no matter what life throws at you, no matter how uncertain things seem, no matter how many times you feel like giving up, because faith isn't about convenience. It's about commitment. It's about standing firm when everything around you is shaking. It's about believing in His plan even when you don't understand it, because there will be moments when you question everything. When the road ahead is unclear, when the prayers seem unanswered, when the struggle feels endless. And in those moments, you have a choice. You can give in to fear. You can let doubt take over. You can start believing that maybe God isn't listening. Maybe He isn't there. Or you can decide to trust, decide to keep walking, even when you don't see the full path. Decide to believe that He is working, even when you don't feel it. That's what it means to stick with God. It means choosing faith over fear. It means choosing patience over panic. It means choosing trust over worry, because God never promised an easy road. He never said life wouldn't challenge you. He never said there wouldn't be moments of struggle, moments of waiting, moments of uncertainty, but He did promise He would never leave you. He did promise that all things are working for your good. He did promise that if you stay faithful, if you stay committed, if you keep trusting, He will take you places you never imagined. Because sticking with God is what separates those who break from those who rise. It's what turns setbacks into comebacks. It's what turns pain into purpose. It's what turns battles into testimonies. But it starts with a decision to trust no matter what, a decision to keep believing no matter how long it takes, a decision to stay faithful even when it's hard. Because the ones who stay with God through every season, through every storm, through every test, those are the ones who will see His greatest blessings. So don't waver. Don't let fear take you off course. Don't let doubt rob you of what's ahead. Make the decision. Stand firm. Trust Him no matter what. When you commit fully, everything changes. Doors that once seemed locked begin to open. Obstacles that once felt impossible start to move. Struggles that once held you back become the very things that push you forward. Because God honors full commitment, not halfway, not when it's convenient, not just when things are easy, but when you decide deep in your heart that no matter what comes, you will stay the course. That's when breakthroughs happen. That's when the impossible becomes possible. That's when the things you once feared lose their power over you, because commitment isn't just about believing, it's about acting. It's about stepping out in faith before you see the full picture. It's about trusting when you don't have all the answers. It's about giving everything, even when you don't know how it will all come together. And when you do that, God moves. He makes a way where there was none. He shifts things in your favor. He takes what was meant to break you and uses it to build you. But you have to be all in. You can't hesitate. You can't keep 1 foot in faith and 1 foot in fear. You have to let go of doubt, let go of hesitation, and trust that God is already working behind the scenes, because He sees the struggles you face. He knows the battles you've fought. He understands the weight you've been carrying, and He's not ignoring it. He's using it. He's using every setback to strengthen you, every challenge to prepare you, every disappointment to position you for something greater. But if you give up too soon, you'll never see it. If you stop now, you'll miss the doors He's about to open. If you quit in the struggle, you'll never experience the victory that's waiting for you. So keep going, keep believing, keep pushing forward, even when it's hard, because your struggle is not the end of your story. It's just a chapter that is shaping you, refining you, preparing you for what's next. But you have to stay committed. You have to trust that God's plan is bigger than your current circumstances. You have to believe that He is making a way even when you don't see it yet. And when you do, doors will open, opportunities will appear. What once seemed impossible will become reality. Because when you commit fully, when you trust completely, when you refuse to quit, God will turn your struggles into victories. Decide today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when things feel easier or more convenient. Decide right now. No matter what happens, I will stick with God. No matter how hard life gets, no matter what obstacles come my way, no matter how many times I feel like giving up. Because commitment isn't based on feelings, it's based on a choice to trust when things don't make sense, a choice to believe even when doubt tries to creep in, a choice to stay faithful no matter the circumstances, because life will test you. It will challenge you. It will throw storms your way that try to shake your foundation. But when you are rooted in God, you cannot be moved. When you stay connected to Him, nothing can break you. When you trust Him fully, He will take care of what you cannot control. And that's when your life begins to change. That's when doors start to open that no man can shut. That's when opportunities come that you never expected. That's when strength rises up inside you and you start walking in confidence instead of fear, because sticking with God is the difference between living in anxiety and living in peace. It's the difference between being overwhelmed by problems and knowing that nothing is too big for Him. It's the difference between struggling alone and walking in divine favor. But you have to decide. No more going back and forth. No more trusting one day and doubting the next. No more letting circumstances dictate your faith. Because your faith is not based on what's happening around you. It's based on the God who never changes, the God who never fails, the God who is always working behind the scenes, even when you don't see it. So what will you choose? Will you let fear drive your life? Will you let struggles define you? Will you let circumstances shake your faith? Or will you stand firm and say, no matter what happens, I will stick with God? Because that one decision changes everything. It shifts your mindset. It strengthens your spirit. Opens the door for God to move in ways you never imagined. So make the choice today, not just for a moment, but for life. Stand firm in faith. Trust Him completely. Stay committed no matter what comes, and watch your life change in ways you never thought possible. Because when you truly stick with God, you don't just survive, you thrive. You don't just get through life, you rise above it. You don't just hope for change, you become the change. Doors will open, strength will rise, peace will fill your heart, and purpose will guide your steps. So don't wait, don't hesitate, make the decision, commit fully, and watch what God does in your life. Because when you trust Him completely, He will take you places you never imagined, and you will never walk alone.